You know when you just have one of those ideas and it's just at the wrong time? I should have got that video. I can't remember, it was a comedian crawling through the desert going, water, water. That's what I should have put at the beginning of this show, because it's stinkingly hot. And I do mean stinkingly hot. For us, anyway, in the UK, we're so unused to this. This is just not us. Our homes are built to retain heat, and I've got all this stuff turned on that I need that also generates a megaton or a megawatt of heat. I'm just touching my amplifier, as lovely as it is, it's like an oven. Anyway, welcome. It's the ProSynth Network Live show, episode 275. If you're in the UK, then you know exactly what we're going through here, and I think it's happening pretty much over most of Europe. It's what they call a heat dome or something like that. It's going to be like this for a few days, but we'll get through. Unfortunately, when I say we're going to get through, we might finish rather early this week, because yet again, it's a slow news week. So we've got a few things to talk about that are new, that should be interesting and should generate some kind of conversation. We're also going to be joined by some people that I've invited into the show merely to pad and to deliver some extra speech so that we can all maybe just make this last a little bit longer. So we'll bring these people in as and when. We've got a brilliant Synthspirations video for you that thankfully is 16 minutes long. So that's like an eighth of the show. Boom, just like that, sorted. So stay tuned for this week's Synthspirations video. Anyway, let's get the boring stuff out of the way first. And I can do this now. I mean, normally I would do this. I'd go like, comment, subscribe, and share. But actually, what I can do is I can do this. Look, I've got an actual thing. If I turn that blooming thing off there, I've got animated. Look, there it is. Like and subscribe. Please do give us a like and a subscribe on YouTube, preferably during the show. That'd be fantastic. If you haven't already, of course. Subscribing and ringing that bell just makes sure that you get notified of any videos that we put up. It costs you nothing but means the world to us, as do your thumbs up. So if you like the show, give us a thumbs up. It'd be fantastic. So thank you for that. And don't forget, you can also look at this. I can do this now. You can follow us on Facebook. Give us a like and a follow on Facebook. New toys, you see. I like new toys. I like this kind of stuff. And if you do that, we will just say thank you. I love this. Really do like this. And welcome to the show. And breaking news. Rob's really upsetting people by putting rubbish on the screen. Anyway, there you go. Give us a like and a subscribe and a share. That would be most appreciated. What they don't do is they don't do animated ones of these. You can support us if you want to. You don't have to. It's not obligatory. This show is completely free of charge to everyone. But if you want to show some support, this is one great way of doing it. So you come to our Patreon page, patreon.com/ProSynth Network, and you can subscribe to that for a minimum of $2 a month. Currencies vary slightly, but it's that kind of thing. And what do you get? You get the warm fuzzy feeling that you've helped this channel stay on the air, and also you get access to lots of free exclusive content. So free sound patches for your hardware and your software synthesizers. There is video content such as clips from the show that are ad-free and exclusive. We've put all sorts of things on there, so you do get something for your $2 or more a month. But you don't have to do it. It's entirely up to you, but it does help keep us on the air for what it's worth. The other thing that you can do is you can go to our merch store, where you can buy lots of lovely things. And I must go and buy some of our Justin Have You vest tops, because this stuff is a little bit close. Knowing my luck, as soon as I buy those, winter will set in around sort of the August 1st or something like that, which is fairly common. Anyway, go and buy your stuff there. If you want to, you can buy a bikini, because it's that time of year. We have a ProSynth Network bikini that was modelled for us by the wonderful Hayley a little while back. So go and check that out. You can also buy wonderful big containers that keep your drinks nice and cool. There you go, the 32-ounce container. Or hot in the winter, keeps some things hot as well. So yeah, go and support us there, and we just we're able to skim a little bit off the top of each sale. Again, to help keep the show on air. So there you go. 2 ways you can support us, and of course the third way is through YouTube. YouTube channel memberships. You can join on YouTube, again, minimum $2. You get all of the freebies that our Patreons get. So please do, if you can support us, we'd love you to do that. Thank you very much. You can also follow us over on Facebook, Blue Sky, Twitch, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok, all with the handle @ProSynth Network. If you so please. Facebook is the best place. I think that's where most of us congregate during the week. And yeah, that's pretty much everything that we need to do there. So let's bring in our resident co-hosts who are equally melty because we're all here in the UK. Let's go to Mr. Betty Swallocks, Mr. Ken Spong.
Hello.
How you doing?
God, it's hotter than Kate Bush's underwear drawer in here.
Isn't it just?
It's, yeah, mate.
Have you been out in the shed today?
Yeah, briefly. I opened the door, went in and went, no.
Microwave.
Closed the door, went, no, back in.
Oh, well.
Yeah, it's a little bit on the, as you say, these...
Toasty.
Betty Swallocks. I nearly said it the right way round then.
Yeah, I know, right?
So, no, I was supposed to be taking delivery of a certain Vokenus between, I think they said 12:30 and 4:30.
Okay.
And
a large window. It's nearly 7:30.
Yeah, it's nearly 7:15, and apparently it's still sitting in Istanbul, so that must be some bloody fast truck.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know what stopped up.
Summer holiday.
I was going to pick up a souvenir or two while it was going through, I suppose. So, yeah, so according to the tracking, it's still there.
Oh, well.
Fingers
crossed.
Yeah.
Then we'll all have one. We can be the Evoke trio.
Yeah, there's something incredibly sad about that.
Evoke.
Yeah, I know. Anyway,
but this came today anyway.
What's this?
Oh. You and your vinyl collecting.
Oh, here we go.
I got a 255mm steel cutter. Boy, look at that bitch.
Stick that on your turntable.
That's a blade, mate.
I was going to say it didn't look like a 12-inch box.
Yeah,
I know what 12 inches looks like.
Yes, I know. You've got a picture of it somewhere, haven't you? Just to remind you. Yeah, it's yes. It was that photograph of your ex-girlfriend, wasn't it? Yeah, it's yeah. This is going to help me cut out all the pieces of 3mm steel, 3mm that I'm using to weld all the bottom of the Mustang door.
Oh, of course, yes.
Yes, because we must move on.
Keep all the synths in order.
Oh, we'll keep him in order. Any of them mess about, I just show them that blade and go, you next. So yeah, so that arrived, and that was supposed to arrive Sunday. So I seem to have got that the wrong way round.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah,
there you go.
Indeed. Anyway, good to see you. The other noise that you heard in the background there was Mr. Longhurst, who's holding a box.
This old thing. Kent.
Yours didn't do a sleepover in Istanbul then?
No, it arrived days ago. I just haven't got around to unbox. I'm going to do the unboxing video, despite some people perhaps.
It's so last year.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. I'm going to do an unboxing.
How many cables did you buy with it?
Yeah.
Well, there is that. There is that, and I might try running it up with the Ambient and the ELZ1. But let's get the unboxing done first. I don't know quite when. But yeah, it's it's hot. It's very, very warm. I was working in here till, I was telling the gentleman earlier, I was working till about 4 this morning because it was cooler last night, doing some editing. And whilst the temperature dropped, the humidity went up 75%, and it was just... So, and I did some more work this morning for a bit, and then I had to leave here and go and find somewhere cool with fans surrounding me to work out the rest of the day. But yeah, I hope you're all doing well. Is everyone doing well out there in the heat? What are people doing that are in the UK and Europe? Studio went up to 30 degrees. You gave it up the end, Simon.
With a tennis sweatband on his head.
You put a tennis.
Well, that's normally what causes it.
Oh,
I know, right?
Yeah. So
Well
apparently
done.
it's hotter tomorrow. So
yes, 34 here tomorrow.
yeah,
Awesome.
and you'll be looking back at today, going, "Oh, if only it was just as hot as it was yesterday, that'd be so much better." So
It was 33 today,
yeah.
so
I'll probably spend most of tomorrow in my car with the aircon on, 'cause that's all we've got. or pull the car up out the front and fashion some sort of tube to the front door, and then just leave it running.
To give you an idea how hot it was in the back garden today, I put the hose on the dogs to cool them down, and I picked up the hose, turned on the tap, and sprayed it, just a little like that, because Nellie loves to go mad at it. I sprayed it, and she yelped. I went, "What are you yelping for?" And I sprayed the water on my hand, and it burnt my hand.
boiling. Yeah,
Inside,
yeah.
it baked inside the hose
Wow.
pipe. So I did apologise, but she was extremely pissed off with me.
Did you make a nice cup of tea with it?
I could have, you know, honest to God, you could have done.
Yeah.
It was that bad, so. But the
Yeah.
cold came through eventually, and they got absolutely soaked. Something stupid. So
Anyway, well, that's enough talk about the weather. I know we're British and that's what we're supposed to do, but
we don't often get it, do we?
no, that's it. Anyway, so we will suffer in relative silence for the next hour and 45 minutes.
What?
Yeah, maybe we should have just made the show even shorter, just to say, oh yeah, we got to shut down early because of the heat. We think we're hot. We were just watching the end of the tennis. Yannick Sinner beating Novak Djokovic in straight sets into the final, and apparently the temperatures in that bowl like arena were much higher than they were out here. So credit to those people, but they're trained for it. Anyway, right. So we've got a few things to talk about. We've got a few things to show. We'll do Synthspirations maybe around the top of the hour. As I said, we are hoping to have some people join us throughout the show, just to help, pad things out a little bit. Not that that's all they're good for, but I just thought, well, there's the best way to run up the clock is to have old white men yabbering on about something like waving fists at clouds in the sky, which is what we'll probably be doing.
Good luck with that.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Sorry for spoiling the highlights, but unfortunately we live in a day and age where there's it's out there. If you don't want to hear anything, you literally have to disconnect. So I'm very sorry. Yes, I have had a haircut.
Haircut.
Yeah, haircut. Went and had that done yesterday, in ready for the summer hollybobs. So I feel a little cooler because of it, but not much. And it's still mostly there, and it's mostly not great. But yeah. Anyway,
I'm dyeing mine red at the weekend.
oh wow, red now,
Yeah.
not purple.
Really,
I
really,
noticed
really
that most
vibrant
of your
red.
synths aren't switched on either, Robbie. Would that have anything to do with
None of them. Literally
Yeah.
none of them. The only thing I've got switched on is my amp and my interface and my computer. And that's it. And the monitor. And the light. And the camera. I got a new
Yeah.
toy, by the way. I don't know if... Let me just zoom out. There we go. You can see it just literally above my head. There you go.
Uh-huh.
I've got a Yamaha RS7000. Finally. It's only been 20 odd years. But I remember when I had an RM1X, which I sold stupidly and then managed to rebuy recently. And I thought, no, that came up as a really good price. So I had one of those. So I've got back into messing around with those. A lot of fun. Anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about some stuff
okay.
that's been happening on. Will you stop zooming around with your camera? Jesus, making me seasick. Right, let's talk about new stuff. He's doing it again.
I'll stay here.
Please do. Whoa, what's going on there? Right, let's show a promo video of something that's new. Well, kind of new, but not really new.
Oh.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we have risen from the dead. The Arturia MicroBrute is back, so the Brute family is kind of whole again once more. I can't remember when they stopped making the MicroBrute, but they started making it again, and they've given it a brand new paint job. It's called the MicroBrute UFO. Which obviously you saw with the theme in the video there. Let me just bring the what's it onto the screen thingy type what's it thing. I should have done this before, really, shouldn't I? You know, you think after 5 odd years I'd be somewhat decent at doing this. Here we go. There it is. The MicroBrute UFO edition, limited edition analog mono synth. It's a lovely little thing. It's a Brute oscillator. It's got a Steiner Parker filter in it. We've got a new guest at the bottom there. We'll introduce him in just a moment. I forgot that he was there. We've got an envelope. We've got a sequencer. It's actually a really flexible, powerful little beastie, as Andrew would say. It's got its own patch bay and everything. Little mod matrix at the top right-hand corner. And, of course, these funky graphics and an all-black keyboard. And retails for a mere 349 of your euros, which is probably, what, 320 UK-ish, depending on the exchange rate. It's got pretty decent connectivity at the back. Unfortunately, it's not battery powered. That would have been nice if it was. You could just literally throw a few batteries in and take it out. But you've got all the features that you'd expect on a Brute synthesizer, including the Brute Factor. You've got the metalizer, you've got the ultrasaw and the sub-fifth oscillator, as well as 3 different waveforms and overtone controls on that oscillator as well. You've got an LFO, you've got a ADSR envelope, and you've also got this lovely sequencer where you can store up to about 8 or 9 patterns, I believe. It's a really nice little thing, and it looks very cool too. I'm just very glad that it's back, and looking forward to getting my hands on one. It's green and black, and it's
I like
lovely.
that.
Yeah, it's not bad. That. Welcome, Jason. By the way, how are you?
Hey guys, how you doing?
Yeah,
I'm good.
Thanks.
Enjoying the heat. Dare
shut
I
up.
say it?
Shut up.
Yeah, you
Cheers.
should.
Oh,
Well
we don't
done.
have enough of this warm weather.
Is that beer?
I'm
tea.
celebrating 1 year sober. This is iced tea.
Well, good on
Well
you, sir.
done.
Your
on
good
you.
health.
Indeed, and yours, and much better than mine.
He's changed quite a bit since his last single, hasn't he?
I know.
I thought it was a lot. I thought it was a bit wider than that. No.
Oh dear. Do you know who he looks like? He reminds me of the lead singer out of the Eagles of Death Metal. Is it the Death Metal of Eagles, or the Death Eagles of Metal? You know the ones. You look like that guy.
Did you have a
with the
dream?
tash. I have a dream.
I have a dream. I have a dream. I have
It's
lots
that
of
tash. It's
Yeah,
that tash.
you
I've
remember
That's
in a
what does it.
dream.
Tell
Who
me,
was
somebody
the
confirm. He
inspector
looks.
Who was the inspector on the buses?
No, come on. There's me going all kind of like suave 1930s Hollywood actor, and there's you on the bus. Oh, I'll get you.
Blakey.
That was the guy. Well, I don't know what his name
Butler.
was. Blakey,
Anyway,
Blakey,
Butler,
Blakey.
Butler.
I'll get you.
Blakey.
Blakey.
Butler, I'll get you. Blakey.
Blakey.
That
So
was
either
it.
that or John Mills. It could be John Mills.
Yes.
John Mills. We'll go with John Mills. But thank you. Yeah, I haven't waxed it. I've just realised that it's a bit untidy. One has to wax.
Apparently so. Apparently. Anyway, shall we move back to the synthesizer?
Oh yeah, go on then.
So here we go. I mean,
do that. Let's do that.
350 euros, you get a 100% analog signal path with a Steiner Parker filter, lovely VCO. It's the Brute VCO. It sounds great. Multi-mode filter, Brute Factor, step sequencer, CV gate and audio in and out. You can process external audio through that Steiner Parker filter as well. You've got MIDI DIN in, and also USB MIDI as well as for using for updating if necessary. But it's back. The MicroBrute is back, and it's a lovely little thing. Thoughts on this one, gentlemen? Let's go to our esteemed guest. What do you think? Have you played?
Well, I thought. Oh, you mean him?
Shut up.
Oh, okay.
By the way, can I just introduce Kent to the family?
He's a Triffid.
Yeah, I've been named after a Triffid. I'm not quite sure what to make of that.
Well,
And that's
Robbie
That's
2.0.
2.0.
Still, that is slightly. He's been eaten by Jackson.
There's a bit of a
he
delay
appears-
between your speech and your video.
Oh, I see. I'm named after the thin, ugly one.
Well, you wouldn't be named after the fat one now, would you?
Well, this
there-
is true. Yeah.
there is a
Delay.
there's a delay between.
Noticeable delay.
You look a bit like. Do you remember what was that TV show?
I
Monkey.
don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I will
You want to
pet you.
fight? You want to fight? So there is a bit of a. I don't know whether that's something you can
That's
sort of.
disappointing, isn't it?
Don't know what that is.
I'm using the same kit as I normally use. I've gone for a headphone, so I'm not like last time I did this. Anyway, that was my workaround. So maybe it's the Bluetooth headset. I don't know, but
that could be it. Could be it.
Could be the moustache.
Could be that
Start
causing
longer.
a blip in the space-time continuum. Yeah. But tell us about the MicroBrute and what you think. Did you ever have or play with an original?
I played with Gaz's, which is
Hello.
now owned by Carvers Tabari.
Oh.
Yeah, I think they're a cracking synth. I have to say though, why is it 349 euros? Because it was never more than 300 quid. I think it came out originally about 250, 260 quid.
Oh.
It
Inflation.
needs to be that price.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure 269 was the price of it. I love the black keyboard. I love the green graphics, but I don't love the price.
Mm.
Mm.
Do me a
And there
favour.
we
Just
go. I
just
have an opinion.
tap the top of your microphone for me, would you? Yeah, we're not hearing you through that. We're hearing you through probably a Bluetooth
All right.
microphone, so you might need to just reselect.
Hang on.
I think that's probably what it is. Yes, there was a mention, and there has been often mentioned when this synth comes along. No, the sticky knobs thing has gone. That's a thing of the past. Yay! Arturia haven't had sticky knobs for ages. Misses. So yeah, there's none of that. Kent,
Yes, darling.
any thoughts on one of these little things?
Well, it's nice to see it back, actually. Because didn't I swap one of these with you?
No, that was a Mini Brute S.
I was a Mini Brute SC, wasn't it? Yes.
It had the full size keys.
Yeah, the full-size keys, yes. No, I think it's cute. I'm glad to see it back. I like what they've done with it. I love that they've made the keyboard black, and I like you got the new livery on it.
Yes.
Ooh, look at me using flash words and all that sort of thing. And cute. The cynical side of me is going, oh, that's a way of just pulling in a few £100 without having to go too much into R&D. But let's put that to one side and go, no, let's not do that. No, this is cool.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can get yourself one of those lithium-ion battery packs, plug it in the back and take it out in the field.
Yeah.
Or play it on a couch.
Or play it on the couch. Something for later. Yes. Absolutely. I think when I spoke to the guys at Arturia in Berlin in May and had a play on one of these, they said we've brought it back because there's a demand for it. We haven't brought it back just because we're stuck for ideas or anything. People have been begging them to some degree or another to bring the MicroBrute back because it is a great little gateway synth, I think. Jason's stroking his microphone and has a very sad face. So,
but I'm glad they've dealt with this sticky knob thing.
Oh yeah, the sticky knob.
Because I'm sick to death of having to rub people's sticky knobs clean in the workshop, and putting them into the sonic cleaner with the mixture of chemicals that I have devised to get all the shite off the knobs.
Yes,
So I'm glad to see the back of that.
Very liquid.
We've known that the stuff that they coated those particular knobs in, and I've had countless things with that coating on that it just ends up going sticky. People have known about that for so long. I'm still surprised that people are using it or were using it. So hopefully that's changed now. But certainly with all the modern brutes, they're all absolutely fine. So we don't have that issue with this one. Yeah. Mr. Longhurst, any thoughts on this one?
Lots.
Go on then.
So Jason, you said you were a bit miffed at the price. It's now 349. It's 300 quid. It's 299 in all the retailers here in the UK.
Oh, is it 299? Yeah.
I think it's about the same price as it was when it was last out. And given that components have gone up and all that kind of stuff, the price is fine. I don't have an issue with the price at all.
All right, Mr. Moneybags. Jeez.
No, but I don't. I don't. And,
Buy me
and
buy
here's
us,
what
yeah, buy us all one.
Moneybags-
Do the rounds.
As if I had all that money. But no, it's not. It's not about that. This is a great gateway synth to start off with. It's a really good gateway synth to get people in. I know it's only a single oscillator. I know it's only got one envelope. But for anyone wanting to understand synthesis, this gets you there really quickly. You can see exactly what's going on. Steve Elbows posted, why is there a knob top right called PWM? Because it's above the square wave, and that's the PW, that's the width, pulse width. And I believe that can be modulated as well.
Beats windows and monkeys.
Monkeys.
Yeah. That kind of thing. So there's several different waveforms you can mix simultaneously. There is an envelope. There is a decent amount of modulation, not as much as all the other things, but there's a lot of I/O. I know this thing sounds amazing. So the one thing that made me laugh was in the intro video, the promo, it had the cow being beamed up, and I thought they were going to say something about it being a Moog, or something, but they didn't. They
No,
missed that.
thankfully.
I love it. I think
Yeah.
it's a really cool thing. And yeah, it might be more expensive than some others, but we know the pedigree of these. We know they sound good. I'm all for it.
Yeah, mine's on order. Well, I'm getting one. So simple as that. And
I think
then
it's a
I
great
think
thing.
I have the complete Brute collection. Mini Brute 1, Mini Brute 2, Micro Brutes, Polys, Matrixes. Yeah.
Splash it all over.
Splash it all over.
Hey, Kent, you got there.
Yes.
Again.
No, this is nice. I like this. I like.
It's not like me, is it?
I like the fact they brought it back, and it kind of made me think, as these things do.
Yes, they do.
What other synthesizers, forgetting clones and copies or whatever you want to call them, what other synthesizers have died a natural death or something, or maybe unnatural, and then returned to us some years later? I mean, I suppose
Prophet 5, Mini Moog,
the the Mini Moog,
the PS 3300.
2600,
Yeah.
the
2600.
Odyssey, the FS7, all the Korg stuff. That's
and
come
I
back and
thought
sold
I
the
thought
arts.
we might take our time going through that list, but you've just blasted through. Anyway,
Well, you asked synth experts a question.
this
I
is
mean,
true.
duh.
Yes. This is true.
You should have asked Justin's cat. That would have spaced it out a bit more.
Base station, apparently,
But-
Innovation
yeah.
Base Station.
Yeah.
But how well have they done the reissues? Because here's the thing with a lot of these reissues, they had the opportunity not just to reissue them, but to give them those little tweaks and updates that made them even more usable, using better components, better, all sorts of things. Have they seem to have sold well enough to have justified having done it. So, for instance, the wonderful unboxing that you did of what is essentially the synclavier. Yeah, I know, but it is a synclavier. It is a synclavier. I think it's great that they're bringing some of these things back. I think it's really, really good that they're bringing them back.
Yeah, I think there's a time and a place for it. I mean, you look at Yamaha. Although they haven't ever brought anything back from the grave, they have resurrected some of their brands. Like, if you look at the Reface, you've got Reface CS, Reface DX, and yeah, you've got what's the other Reface? The Y, the organ one. Was it the YC?
YI.
Oh, the YI, man. YI, the Geordie.
Geordie synth.
The Geordie synth.
Ah,
Yamaha. Yeah. Dear, oh dear. Can you tell with
see
the
this EE?
YC? Thank you.
Yeah,
It was
but come on,
the
for
YC.
decades, both Roland and Yamaha were reluctant to. Well,
do you mean for decades? They
had
still
that
are.
never look back kind of.
They still do.
They still do, but
Yeah.
every now and again they sort of like go, oh, go all in, like putting a ring mod on the
Yeah.
on the MA8s and stuff like that.
But what's really good is what Korg have clearly shown is that re-releasing some of these old things stimulates interest in it, in all of those things, and allows their engineers. I imagine their product team must be, engineers must be over the moon, because they get to look at these original things and say, well, how can we use some of this in the new products? And I think there is some very clear lineage sort of seeping across one from the other. I think it's a great thing. I'm surprised Roland haven't done a reissue. I'm really surprised they haven't.
To be
done
honest,
a
I'm
reissue.
not. I think that's where Roland Cloud picks up that slack.
Yeah.
And they just do it all in software. You know, they've often. I mean, they always said we don't chase analog ghosts, and then somehow they still kind of do.
Well, they
Chase
do
the
by
analog
not going
ghosts,
back.
yeah.
They look at it as going forward.
Yeah, except then they released the Jupiter XM and the Juno X, which to all intents and purposes look like their original forebears and have models of the synthesizers in, but they don't look back.
They've got four bears.
Well,
So-
because even those ones, I mean, they didn't sound like the keyboards they were trying to represent.
What I was going to ask was, I've now shoot me now, but I've never.
With pleasure.
Yeah, I know. I've never owned or really had any kind of, in fact, not really. I've never spent any time with a reface. Are the emulations as good as one would hope with the
The
refaces?
CS is incredibly nice for what it is. I mean, it's not a CS80 or anything like that, but it has that real nice, that Yamaha.
It has
analog
the
tape.
CS sound. Yeah.
The DX is great. It's a 4-operated, FM synthesizer, and you can't really get that wrong, really, can you? I have never tried the YC, and I wouldn't, even if I had, I wouldn't know how that compares to the originals. But they were generally very well received.
CP was quite a good thing, though, wasn't it?
And the
Even though
CP,
it's-
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
The CP. You got to do that because obviously, as a Genesis fan, the CP70, late 70s kind of Tony Banks live.
But it also did more than
You know.
just the CP. It had
It
other
did.
electric
But
piano
just
sounds.
to see
in
that,
there.
that legend on there was quite nice.
Yeah.
But again,
yeah.
I always thought it was odd that it was mini keys for an electric piano. He's
Yeah.
going to do mini keys. And the organ,
Yeah.
it just felt, that they were going like, Korg win, basically, the Japanese giants, don't they? They win
Yeah,
at all the new stuff. They've got
They
it.
always do.
But it doesn't
they're
stop them
braver.
trying.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair to Yamaha, they have they've issued new versions of their YC range in modern form.
They did.
So you get all of that.
Yeah,
But yeah,
full form,
it's
Well, I
all of
showed
that and
MTV
more.
Dom at NAM 2020 with the white MCA organ.
Yeah, I mean, like
And
you
then
say,
there's-
Korg are very brave, and they do these reissues. The 700, the PS30 300, and of course they look after the ARP stuff as well. So there's some really good stuff there. But
And then there's people like Wolfgang and well, Wolfgang's not involved as giving his name to it, but the reissue of even though it's expensive,
The 1002.
PPGs, the 1002.
Yeah.
And even with Moog, when they started reissuing the System 15, was it?
oh yeah, yeah.
So there is appetite. There is appetite for it. We know they cost more but if you look at the inflation, the cost they were then to what they would be now, it's it's about right. But they're I think it's a great thing, giving us access to all of these products, and those sounds, that way of working, that one feature per knob button, whatever way of working, which is a great thing.
I mean, there was always I remember in the 90s, people were calling for 303s, 101s, 808s, 909s, and more. But generally, it was the XOX, Roland stuff that people were crying out for. And all Roland did was they issued new things that tried to be
Emulate,
like the old
copy,
things,
be a
like
bit-
the MC series, the 505 and
MC307.
and the 30, all of that stuff. They put them in the silver box to look. It looks a little bit like no, it doesn't, mate. Honestly.
But they
So,
weren't,
I mean,
they weren't
yeah.
anything like.
No, they were
The
all
originals. I mean,
digital.
I-
They were
I
all
was-
sample based.
Yeah. That's the heyday of when I was working at Sound Control. So we sold so many of them, and I ended up taking a 307 home to learn it over a weekend. I say a weekend. We worked weekends, right? Retail. But I struggled to get those TB303 sounds out of it, and I think the samples were just very rudimentary. And of course, you think back to 2000, and actually the MC303 was 1996, 97 that came out.
Yeah.
So the sample size of, the sample size. Can't speak English. the sample memory on those devices was so tiny that you're left with such a little amount. And I guess digital filters, I mean, we are talking 30 years ago, right?
Yeah. So I just picked up that RS7. I just picked up that RS7000, which was 2001. I thought it was a little earlier, but it's 2001. The maximum sample RAM that you could have in there, it came with 4 megabytes. You could expand it to a whopping 64 megabytes.
Yeah.
But then I look over at my...
I used to sell them.
I look over my MKII S6000, and you could get a whopping 256 megabytes in that. I mean, that was the sample master. That was 250. Can you imagine?
Did I dream it? But wasn't there a period where RAM went through the ceiling in terms of costs?
Yeah.
There was a rarity of it.
Fire.
And it frightened a lot of companies from having machines with too much RAM in them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was the swap over with RAM. And I know that with the 7000, am I right in thinking you could expand the RAM, but you had to save anything you wanted to use again to an external zip or SD card? Or
certain machines had different methods of swapping things to move things around. I mean, again, with that RS7000, you have smart media cards, these things. If I can find the
PCMCI. Oh
no, these.
No, I remember now. Yeah. Oh God, yes. Yeah.
Now, the RS7000 requires one of those installed with all of the stuff on to boot and to bring everything in. So it was why didn't you just hard code that into the motherboard? But there you go.
Sorry, we're getting an echo from you, Jason.
I think it's using the lap. I've taken the headphones off. I think it's whilst I've selected this.
Yeah,
it's not using it, and it says it's using it. It's not. It's using it. I might pop back in again, and see if it sorts it, because it's
Yeah, cool. Okay. Right. But yeah. So where were we?
So Arturia have released the MicroBrute. I think it's a great device, and there are lots of other things. I mean, what else would you like to see come through?
I don't know if I would now, to be honest, because I think all of my historic itches have been scratched mostly by software plugins, and I'm quite happy to use a software plugin of a CS80, because I know I can't afford a real one, B, Kent will never leave me one in his will, and C, I don't have the room to so I'm happy to scratch my CS80 itch with one of a number of software versions of it. So I don't know if there is anything that I would want a company to bring back. Not a clone. I forget clones. We're not talking about clones, because we could be here till the cows come home. But I don't think there's anything I'd want anyone to bring back. I wouldn't want Akai to bring back an Akai sample.
Kent.
I'm with Robbie on this, to be honest. The thing about another this whole sort of like, oh yes, it's the experience of using the CS80. It's all encompassing. Yeah, okay, but not at that price. I mean, when Richard was selling these for like 3,500, fully restored,
responged,
by the Spong's maestro himself, right? 3.5K, and we used to get emails from people going, "It's a bit expensive, isn't it?" So, you know, and now of course, you know, like we said, we saw one go for 98K, didn't we? So like, and I just went, yeah, I'd like to email the guy back and go, "How do you feel now, bitch?" So, but. But it's a market that shouldn't really be incorporated into mainstream music manufacturing, because at the moment we've got a lot of companies that sort of like, oh, we're harking back to this, so we've bought this, oh, we put a Steiner Parker filter in it. You go, that's a 60-year-old filter. How about coming up with a new one? Yeah. Do something different, but that's the innovation and the cost side of things, and it's all very well, bringing out different units that have a different assortment of stuff from the past in them, as something sort of like a little bread trail for people to follow, but we're not putting as much effort into coming up with new ways, new types of sound creation.
I think Jason was right about Korg, because Korg have consistently produced new gear, so mod wave, wave state, op6, all of that stuff, and it's really, really good. The multi-poly is a cracking synthesizer, so they're doing innovation, but based on historical stuff. So that the multi-poly is a massive step forward from the monopoly that harks back and has little hat tips to the past. Yeah. Same with the wave state, same with the mod wave, and same with the op6. But they've advanced it and they've made it a completely new thing. And yet, every now and again, they just drop a little PS3300 or Korg 700S or a couple of the ARPs. So and then. Not everyone can afford those, and not everyone can save up enough money in time, because they're all limited things. And I fully expect to see a PS3300 plug-in in the next Korg Legacy software collection, as they did with the 700, and they've done with the Odyssey, and they've done with the 2600 as well. So they've kind of satisfied everybody with a lot of that stuff. And I think Jason was absolutely right, that Korg are probably the bravest company of the old guard, shall we say?
I think they always were, Jason? Weren't they?
Yeah, I think so. No, it's still not.
I've switched computer and everything.
Oh well, I think you're in time.
Yeah.
Am I?
Yes,
you're in sync.
Yeah,
no,
we'll take that. We'll take that. That'll do.
Okay.
Don't touch your thing.
Though.
I do believe I've heard on the grapevine from people that I cannot name that when the 33 they built 50 PS3300s.
I think they're doing them in batches, aren't they?
Well, yeah, it's going to be sort of like, these would be named units, i.e. there's people already getting these and all the rest of it, and then they are going to be producing them.
They're actually going to put it into
in small, but they would be available. You could go, yes, I think I'll have a PS3300 very much. It's still going to be the same price, but you can get one.
Because they've done, they did it with the 2600, they've done it with the 700, they did it with the did they do it with the Odyssey? I can't remember. They did full size FS versions, and then they do the small versions, which are a little bit more attainable for the, most of us.
67%.
Yeah,
reduction. So, that's right, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a third. It's a third smaller. But could you do that with I've not seen inside one of the modern 3300s. To be honest, I've never seen inside the original, but I've heard tell from some old fusty old git in the bottom right hand corner there, who tells me it's a bird's nest behind there. Could you reduce that by a third?
Yes, you could. You could, and I tell you for why. Because although it's a series of boards and then a big power supply on the end, right? The space between the components on the boards of the original is, well, you could take a dog for a walk between the ICs and the capacity. It's not a heavily populated board, if you know what I mean.
Right.
The octave divider boards, they're more compact. Well, we're talking about surface mount technology, which is, in terms of that, at 20% the size of the original component. So you can make those boards smaller. No problem. Absolutely no problem at all.
And I'm sure in the new one, there's a lot less.
Yeah.
It's probably
I mean, for these ones that they've done, they've had it where they've got it. It's not the size of the original, I don't think. I don't believe it is. But it's certainly what we would call the impressive eye-catching size.
So what you're saying is size doesn't matter.
Well, that's what I tell Fiona every night.
Do you hear that? Size doesn't matter. Sorry.
Darling?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all telling our
I
ladies.
told her not to get offended when I keep
know, right?
tying a plank across my arse to stop myself from falling in.
Thing is, there's a couple I would dearly love to see again. I'd love to see an original System 100.
Yeah. Or a
love to
700.
I'd love to see a System 100 because of the boutique. Sort of the nature, the way they built it, everything on it just worked. I love the concept.
Yeah.
But then there's
don't
people
they?
like Tom. What am I missing? Then there's people like Tom.
Everything you're saying is an innuendo. That's what you're missing.
In your endo.
Your endo.
Yeah.
The children at the bottom here.
Yes.
So
Oh, matron, no.
then there's people like Tom who's taken the idea of the 2500,
Yeah.
which I've always lusted after. Tom's done something entirely different. He's taken the workflow, the
Yes.
way the 2500 was creative, and made it so much better. He's done something really unique. Tom's a and that kind of thing I think is great. Out of everyone's price range again, but then the 2500 would be if it was redone.
Tom's a mad genius.
Yeah, agree.
He's a
He
mad
really
genius.
is a
And
genius.
lovely, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, no
There you
sane
go.
manufacturer
Yeah.
would have done that synth. Seriously.
No, nobody's brave enough.
No.
Or stupid enough, as Tom would actually say. I think Tom's actually said that to me many times.
But I'm
Nobody's
so
stupid
glad
enough
it
but
worked
me.
out for him. I'm
Yeah,
so
yeah.
glad it worked out for him because it
Oh,
could have.
absolutely.
I mean, it could have finished him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And instead, it's
Good.
finished his customers who, spend tons of money on his glorious work. Talking of tons of money, thank you very much to the hand of Lenin, who was
Yay.
donated the 199. Thank you very much indeed. Much appreciated. Thank you. I didn't put it on the screen. There we go. The hand of Lenin. Thank you very much indeed. Much appreciated. I love saying that.
I know you do.
Anyway, look, we've killed the best part of an hour almost on talking about we started talking about the MicroBrute, which is back in all of its wonderful black and green glory for
It's back.
about 300
And
quid
under
or 350
300
euros.
quid.
Yeah.
Still too
lovely thing.
expensive.
Well, I can't. I'm
One
really
$1.99, and they'll sell. $1.99. That's what we want to see them at.
Oh, wouldn't it
Yeah.
be nice? Wouldn't it be
It
nice?
is. It might happen. Just if you
never
all
know.
wish for it.
I can see you working down the Sunday market.
Come on, roll up for you micro freak. Come on, you micro brutes. Get a maxi brute thrown in while she waits, madam.
I bet that wasn't actually iced tea that he was drinking.
No. I can't. I'm sure he's bigger than that.
1 year and he's back on the wagon. Anyway, we will
Bought
do
his ticket and
inspirations.
everything.
We will do inspirations shortly. But seeing as we are talking about things what have come back from the dead, something else as well. I suppose it has come back from the dead, and in itself, it's brought something back from the past. And that is the news that Behringer have released now the second version of their MS1 Mark II. Originally, it came back in red only. Now it's available in the traditional grey. So this is the Mark II version, which has the much more apparently accurate and authentic 3340 VCOs. But is essentially pretty much the same as the original MS1. And the original MS1 got incredibly close to the Roland version, as evidenced in a video that I made when it first came out, and that was a long time ago. if I recall correctly. And I had an SH-101 and an MS-1 side by side, and I could recreate any sound on both of them very, very simply. There wasn't a lot in it at all. So this is back, but it's now back in grey. So you get your keyboard, you get your mod grip, you get your strap as well. It's got a 32-step sequencer. It looks the business. I always liked the SH-101, and this isn't a bad version of it. I don't know if I'll be rushing out. I would say I've got an original MS1, but I don't think I'll be rushing out to buy the new one. But nice to see it back, gentlemen. Any thoughts on this?
I like the mod grip.
Yeah, you got to have the mod grip.
Well,
I think, it was great that they put it.
I suppose without taking anything away from Behringer on this, but the thing is, AS recreated the Curtis ICs to the point where I can take an AS 3340, put it into a Rev 3 Prophet 5 on one of the voices, and you can't tell the difference between that one and the rest of them, or a filter. So actually doing this MS1 was a genius idea, because the ICs are available, they are cheap, because buying the original Curtis is like stupid money.
Yeah.
And the board is really easy to build. Boom, done. And of course, Roland weren't interested in bringing it back in its original form. Exactly. So
And that's the thing, isn't it?
yeah,
It's going forwards back.
good on them, basically.
Yeah.
But it will sound the same, because AS have literally recreated that chipset to the point where they've recreated the chip. Basically, so there isn't technically any cloning going on as such, if you know what I mean. They've literally built SH-101s again.
And what always made me laugh about detractors of this was, it's just cheap Behringer plastic thing. Have you ever played an SH-101? It's cheap and plastic.
Rubbery.
Yeah, always was.
And
Always will be.
everyone I saw, I don't know about you, but everyone I saw bent ever so slightly.
Yeah.
You look at the base, it would never sit flat. It was always a little bent. No, I don't think that was deliberate.
Battery case is always rusty.
Yeah, and that's the one thing that Behringer missed a trick on, in my opinion, on this one. They didn't make it battery operated. What's the point of having a keyboard with a mod grip that you can play as a keytar, but you have to be permanently wired into the mains, or a big battery pack? I think that was a big mistake. They should have put a battery.
Well, I've seen inside one of these, and there was enough room to put a rechargeable battery in it, to be honest.
Yeah, you could probably do that. Retrofit something in there.
Yeah.
Gaffer tape, power bank, and a ripcord.
Yeah.
Well, I know some people who've got the power banks, and they just put them on the strap, and there you go. And then you can just put some WIDI in there for wireless MIDI if you want it.
Wireless audio pack.
And wireless audio pack, and away you go.
Yeah.
Job done.
Yeah, should have done it. Or what was it? Was it the Space Bee SB1? It was another clone, came out a few years ago. I think it's that they've only just started shipping. They had it at Super Booth a few years ago. Very thin profile. I think it was called the Space Bee.
Wafer thin. Yeah, I remember. Yeah. Really well made.
Wafer thin.
But with a built-in lithium rechargeable battery. That was good.
Was it gold? Black and gold? Did I remember that?
It was.
It was beautiful.
It was beautiful. Yeah.
It's the one, but shallow keypad.
Yes.
Which but beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely.
See, I reckon Yamaha missed a trick there by not releasing the CS80 with a hand grip, so you could walk around, play with it like that. What do you think, Ken? I think that was something they missed there.
Yeah, I think so.
For the rock.
But weirdly enough, the worst thing they come up with was putting wheels on it. That was the worst thing they ever did.
Was it Edgar Winter that used to have a 2600 keyboard slung across his shoulder?
Yeah.
Yeah, Frankenstein. That's the one. Yeah.
What a tune!
Oh, absolutely. What a player. What a sight. I remember seeing that on Whistle Test and thinking, oh my God, look at him with his massive long white hair and this keyboard. What's he doing with the keyboard? Because that was before. Wasn't that before any key, or was that before the Liberator? I can't remember.
I don't know. Still.
Yeah. What a thing. So anyway, there you go. Behringer have now released the grey edition. It sells for around $260. So I don't know what that is in pounds and pence. It's about the same, similar sort of thing.
I'm in a silly mood, but Nick Hayes just said Donna need to make a synth called the Kebab.
They do. They absolutely do. If someone in their marketing department hasn't thought of that,
oh, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. I'll take that job.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
The MS
101 is 149 at Anderton's.
Now that's interesting.
wow.
That's how much it was when the Roland originally launched them.
I thought it was 249.
No.
I thought it was 250 quid. I seem to remember because I was obsessed with buying one.
No, I bought one for 149 quid from bootleg.
Is
First
that
one
for
that
the
came
new
in.
version, or is it trying to clear stocks of the old version?
No, this is the new Mark II version.
Wow.
Well,
That's
I'm assuming.
insane.
I'm going to double check here. No, Nick, Well, yes, the £149 one is the Mark One. Yeah,
Makawana.
but still, I mean,
Still.
That's
Honestly,
a lot of synth for your money.
it's a heck of a lot of synth, and it sounds just like an
Isn't it the same
SH101.
sense, different colour?
But no,
Red
the Mark II red one is only 208. So it's not a huge amount more. So I mean, if you can stump up 150, just stick another 58 quid in there, and you've got the Mark
288
II.
euros on Tayman.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
yeah.
but I know that Anderton's being a Behringer super dealer type thing,
Dealer.
they do a much better price.
Well, after seeing the £7,000 SH101 for sale on Reverb, I think it's still on there as well. Yeah, I
thought
think it's
those-
still up.
I
You're
thought,
gonna
like,
have
I
to
know,
really want it for that price. Not
Christ,
worth
I
it.
desperately
Not worth it.
wanted one. I remember seeing the advert. There was an advert in, I think it was 1-2 testing around 1982, and there was a young teenage boy with one of these slung over his shoulder, stood in front of a Roland amplifier. That was it. And I looked at that and I thought, that's me. That's what I need. That's what I need to be a superstar. I need a Roland SH101, and I never got one. Never got one. And I was actually, when Simon, my friend Simon, lent me his original red SH101 to do my comparison video with, I'm not going to lie, I took a series of photos with me and that slung over my shoulder purely for the memory. Look, I did it. Just to say to my older self that eventually you did.
You
have
need to
one.
share that.
No, I don't.
We do need to share that.
No.
Yeah, absolutely do.
You didn't,
We need
you
to
didn't
see
see
it.
the yellow ones very often.
No, there was the
Yellow?
blue, the red.
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
blue,
yellow
red,
ones.
yellow, and grey. And the yellows were
Oh, I
the
want-
rarest.
There
of
was
the
a black one. It was black as
I
well.
want a yellow one.
rare. Oh.
Yeah, I've had a black one in as well.
I think I've seen a black one. I've not seen a yellow one. I want a yellow one. Why haven't Behringer made the ING? That would be too tempting.
The
Don't
thing
make
about
a-
the yellow one
Behringer,
is
do not make a yellow one.
I want
No,
a
the-
violet one.
the yellow one has a downside because what the yellow one does is because of that texture on the plastic, it gets really dirty and it really shows.
Filthy.
It wouldn't
like
show
that.
on it wouldn't show on the
Dirty
grey so
girl.
much, but on the yellow one, oh, it looks like Thunderbird 4's gone through a big farm. It's roughly the same
dear.
colour as
Right.
well.
Indeed. So there you go, Behringer MS1 Mark II in grey, available to order right now. I think start shipping fairly soon.
Lot of synth for the money.
Yeah,
John
it's
Carter
insane.
said he paid 60 for his original. I think I paid 60 quid for
Wow.
mine. Maybe no. I paid 150 quid for an SH101 and an MT32, and I think he wanted more for the MT32.
Wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me. Yeah. Ah, well, and then the kids got older, and that was that. Let's move on. And
Yeah.
I tell you what, we are at the top. We're just gone the top of the hour.
Top of the hour.
When we come back, we will talk about a vintage mini Moog that is up for sale, with a portion of money going to the Bob Moog Foundation. So we'll talk about that. We'll also be looking at a thing called the Cosmo Lab, which, despite having the word modular in its description, isn't modular in the way that maybe you all get excited about. It's a development kit for musical instruments and DSP algorithms. So we'll take a look at that. But before we do, I'm going to mute my guest's microphone. So if you say something, nobody is going to hear you, because I'm going to fly in a video from outside of the system, and it doesn't automatically mute it. We've got a Synthspirations. Now, we've had a little trouble getting the Synthspirations in to the show, because the gentleman that sent it in unfortunately used copyrighted music in the background, which we do ask that you don't, because it's copyrighted and we get told off. And he was most gracious and said, look, I'm really sorry, I will redo this for you and bring it back in as and when I can. And late this afternoon it arrived. So this is a gentleman who goes by the name of George Nelson. And George has sent in his Synthspirations video. It's a good 16 minutes long. So I suggest that you kick back and relax. And this is going to give us a chance to take on some fluids and relax and cool off a little bit. And we'll be back probably about 20 past the hour. So sit back and enjoy this from George.
This is my story of how synthesizers led me to my favorite bands from many different genres, all linked together by an extremely versatile technology. My love of synths wasn't something that happened suddenly. It took a long time for me to understand or even care what a synthesizer was. Growing up, the first few CDs that I fell in love with were Third Eye Blind's self-titled album and Blink-182's Dude Ranch and Enema of the State. I'm going to spend way too much time on Blink-182, but they truly were the start of my unknown love for synths. I definitely didn't know it at the time, but a huge part of why I loved the sound of Enema is because of the fullness and atmosphere provided by the hidden synth textures. I've come to learn that Blink's producer Jerry Finn was a master at this. A great example is the organy synth tone that's layered in the outro for What's My Age Again. So much mood to the ending section, and I always loved the final blooming of all the instruments swarming in reverb. I didn't know it as a kid, but I think this was my first desire for ambient music. I always enjoyed the more atmospheric interludes and final choruses and endings that Blink was doing. I was often frustrated that they weren't longer, but understood that it wouldn't have worked in this type of punk music. All the Small Things in Adam's song are more great examples of this. I absolutely loved the beautiful bridges and endings to those songs. As a young Blink-182 fan, of course I fell in love with Tom DeLonge's side project Boxcar Racer. I liked that the music was more serious and had a darker tone, and more importantly, found more instrumental breakdowns that were longer. The song And I has a great section with what sounds like a synthesizer coupled with awesome drumming and alternating hard-panned palm-muted guitars. Bridge and Tiny Voices was another favorite of mine. And then came Blink-182's self-titled album in 2003. I was just starting high school and played this album to death on my guitar. This was my first true introduction to post-folk music with tons of atmosphere, experimental instrumental sections, and synth textures. The song Asthenia has a long ambient intro with synths and guitars recorded through a failing Leslie speaker. And then I found out the band referred to the song Always as the 80s song, and this changed everything for me. The production itself was intentionally very 80s new wave, which included more audible synthesizer parts. They also asked Robert Smith of The Cure to sing on the song All of This, which of course led me to The Cure and similar bands like Joy Division, New Order, Echo and the Bunnymen, etc. Shortly after this time, I fell in love with the modern band Interpol. In the beginning, they were often compared to Joy Division because of Paul Banks's voice, but I read somewhere that they were more texturally similar to another wonderful 80s band that would become one of my favorites, the Chameleons. Towards the end of high school, I saw the movie Children of Men in theaters and was blown away by a scene where Clive Owen is traveling through the future United Kingdom with King Crimson's The Court of the Crimson King blasting through the theater speakers. I knew immediately that I had to figure out what the song was. Days later, my mom heard The Court of the Crimson King playing in our basement and asked if I had ever heard Emerson, Lake and Palmer. She took me upstairs and popped Trilogy into the receiver and played the title track through her floor-standing Klipsch speakers. At first, I was a little underwhelmed by the piano ballad, but my mom insisted I just wait. And then, of course, about 3 minutes in, the full band came in and the Moog synthesizers melted my face off. I listened to ELP nonstop for months after that day and did all kinds of research on the equipment used. After my metalhead friend found I was loving ELP, he introduced me to the band Opeth, who were big fans of prog rock and bands like Emerson, Lake and Palmer. I was skeptical at first, but soon fell in love with the atmosphere and heaviness of Opeth. A great example of this is the song Closure. They were mostly using very subtle synth pads and mellotron as a prog metal band, but they're still one of my favorite bands to this day that wouldn't be the same without synths. Another huge moment was toward the end of high school and start of college. I don't even remember now how I first heard DJ Shadow, but I do remember being instantly blown away by the song Building Steam with a Grain of Salt. I played this song over and over again and couldn't get enough of the spliced up drum breakdown in the middle of the song, and the following section that reminded me of the Tony Hawk Pro Skater soundtrack. And then I discovered the song Stem, Long Stem, Transmission 2. This was my true introduction to ambient music. The whole album had this strange nostalgia that never was. I felt like I had heard the songs in my childhood but never actually had. Through this song alone, I discovered some of the most important synthesizer artists of my lifetime: Brian Eno, John Carpenter, Vangelis, and Boards of Canada. could talk for days about these artists, so I won't even get started. One day shortly after starting college in 2007, I was cruising around the streets of Liberty City in a stolen car in Grand Theft Auto 4, and the song Oxygen Part 4 came on the car's radio. I couldn't believe what I was hearing, and couldn't believe I had never heard of Jean-Michel Jarre. The song had such an immediate calming and mysterious vibe that made me feel like I was in the video game. I still feel like I'm on vacation on another planet when I hear that song. Coolest synthesizer pieces ever made. I think I'll end my synth inspirations on one of the most important film scores of my time, The Social Network. I honestly watch this movie 2 to 3 times per year and still haven't gotten sick of it. It's partially definitely because of Aaron Sorkin's screenplay and David Fincher's direction, but it's mostly because of Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross's insanely well done score. I love every moment of every track on this album. The synthesizer sounds they were able to capture here are just perfect. They buzz, drip, sparkle, and whine out of the speakers. Electronic, but at the same time feel so very organic and full of emotion. The first time I ever experienced this playing a synthesizer was the Arturia MicroBrute, which is why I will never get rid of that beautiful beast. I'm endlessly creatively inspired by all of the work by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, and especially this amazing score. I started experimenting with recording my own guitar-based music in 2007, and at some point in 2008 I got my hands on an early version of Arturia's V collection. At that point I had no idea what a synthesizer pad was, but I was using them very liberally in my rock, punk, experimental, and ambient compositions. Over the years I have acquired many software synths, and as far as hardware, I currently have an Arturia MicroBrute, a Sequential Prophet 5 reissue desktop module, a Dreadbox Nymphs, a Yamaha Rephase CS, and various electric and bass guitars and pedals. I must also mention my Eventide H3000D SE, which might as well be a synth. That's my synthesizer story. I hope you all enjoyed it.
I don't know about the rest of you, but I really, really enjoyed that. So, George, thank you so much for sending it. Thank you for persevering for sending that in, because that was rather special. Yeah,
Tremendous.
and if you want to hit all of the music in that is from George's project called Thing Cycling. You can stream it now on all good major streaming services. I think you can buy it somewhere, but I haven't been able to find it just yet. But if you go to a service such as Apple Music, you'll find it there. It was released at the end of May. The album is called Zero Hour. All of the tracks you heard on that are on that album. Please go and buy it, stream it, download it, legitimately, of course. But thank you, George, for that. I thought that was really good. Gents?
Inspiring.
Yes. Isn't it? Wasn't it wonderful? He starts off with Blink 182. Blink 182.
Where's he going with this? What is that about? Yeah,
I thought he's got the wrong show here. But no, what a journey.
No,
what a great journey.
Not at all. I love the fact that, and obviously George is not on his own by incorporating a whole journey's worth of music, because actually, if you can't, can you? None of us can sit down and go, oh yeah, this is the album and that's it. This is the album and then this, and then I went, and you do find yourselves round in some really bizarre cul-de-sacs. So I get the Blink 182 thing, and it was that ambient intro that went, well, what's that? Where's more of this? And eventually, you find Boards of Canada and Atticus and Trent Reznor's work is very ambient. So that to that and all the wonderful things in between, all that prog stuff. I mean,
Crimson, absolutely. ELP,
absolutely.
Great stuff.
Oh. Yeah,
other gents over on the other side there. Thoughts?
I thought it was, as a filmmaker, I was blown away with that. He's clearly used a lot of stock footage, but he's put it together in a way that was deeply satisfying. I love the music. I love the journey he took us on. And it held me at the end when I thought, well, that's it. And it kept on going, but I didn't care.
No,
I think that's one of the best, that's one of the most thoughtful ones we've had. I think he did a really, really good job, and I'm going to be going and checking out that album of his right on the back of this. So
absolutely.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah, indeed.
Well
Ken?
done.
Any thoughts?
Well, yeah, ditto. I mean, actually, it was nice to hear how, because 9 times out of 10, when you with this inspirations, there was a recurring theme of, oh yeah, well, it was back in 78, 79, and I heard this and blah, blah. But this is clearly a guy who is much younger.
Yes.
But he's from the point he was at, because let's face it, Blink 182, Vangelis and Jar.
I know.
It's a real leap of faith, and yet. That led to this, 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 and so forth and so forth.
Discovering Jean-Michel Jarre in Grand Theft Auto. Yeah. I mean, that game is responsible for a lot of that kind of thing, I think.
Well, yes, it is, actually. I mean, the title music to Grand Theft Auto 3, I mean, I as soon as I got the game, I learnt that track.
Yeah.
The opening piano track on it. I was like, I'm learning that, man. I want to play that, and I used to play it like beautifully. But and it was just it's a different take from somebody who was clearly, because it's weird how his influence with Blink 182, which we can't call a synth band,
no,
right, and yet he's picked out. Amongst all the guitars and everything going on, I go, what's this? And then followed a route with it. It's very interesting.
Really
to hear that. And then loops back to going into all the stuff that we went through as it happened. It's very interesting. Yeah, I like it.
Thing is with his journey and the way I think it was really interesting because. I did one, which was just starting off with Abbey Road, and I was going to do 6 more, and I'm still planning to. But what occurred to me listening to everyone else's up until this point is most people are looking at the synths in stuff. For me, my journey is always about the synths with other things around them. So there's always guitar. Usually there's guitars and there's drums and there's bass and there's voices. There's very few. There are one or two that are, you know, more iconic, but most of it is that mix. And I think it's really interesting he's picked that out. And gone that way with it. I just thought it was excellent.
Yeah,
I thought
maybe
it was
that's why Our Friends Electric is such a pivotal gate opener, because it combined the new with the old. Whereas if you listen to, you know, a lot of early synthesizer music, you know, exclusively synth, it was a bit well, that's a bit weird and odd. Whereas what Newman did was combine, you know, bass, drums, and guitar with synthesizers, and there was that door-opening moment. And then, you know, we were more accustomed to listening to it. Maybe that's, I don't know. I'm just.
No,
Is it my memory? But the original release of Our Friends Electric was completely synthesizer.
No, it was always.
No, there was always guitar on there.
Yeah.
Tube by Army. It's
It was
the Tube by
Do
Army.
you know what? Yeah. Do you know what I used to do? That guitar that's in the chorus, I just assumed was that's a much more expensive synthesizer somewhere.
Yeah. But
Seriously.
that was the thing, though.
Seriously.
That was the thing that you when you heard Our Friends Electric, and I remember that moment. It's one of those, you know, moments. I know exactly where I was, who I was with, how I was listening to it, and how I felt. I think I was drawn into it because it sounded familiar, but it also sounded bizarrely different to everything else, and therefore it made the familiar things sound different. So, like you say, the guitars. I mean, the drums. I wouldn't have, you know. It all just sounded very different because of the new thing. But I think
Like
maybe
the first time I heard Down in the Park.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's another one. Yeah. But you go and watch him now, and the guitars are all back, but the synths are still there. You know, that blend is still his thing. But it's certainly the guitars are more
They
up
take
front,
more up front. But then
Yeah.
again,
and it doesn't.
we all know the
doesn't suffer
synth
for it.
versions now.
Yeah,
It's all
But it
right. It's
doesn't-
cool.
It doesn't suffer for it. And
No.
when he does Our Friends Electric now, you know, those classic synth lead lines. He sings it. The people sing it. It's just become this glorious kind of amalgam of everything, and nobody really cares.
It's almost like a
fantastic.
family event, isn't it?
Indeed, yeah.
Yeah.
So listen, George, thank you so much for persevering. I don't know if he's watching or in the chat,
Yeah, it
but
was an
thank you.
excellent
So-
film.
It was definitely
Yeah,
good,
really good.
and definitely up there with some of the best. We will make that available exclusively as a separate cutout, no ads or anything type video for our Patreon members and our YouTube channel members in the coming days. It will be there very, very soon. Now, I also want to take this opportunity to eat up another few minutes of our time because, again, we are very light on news. And now, please do not take this next item as a piece of flagrant self-promotion, because it isn't. But I did a thing with a friend of mine who has been a friend of mine for the last over 25 years. I took him on as my assistant manager at Choices Video in 1999, I believe it was. He was a film buff, still is a film buff, had the gift of the gab. He was a Yorkshireman, of course, and he was brilliant to have. Although he had a penchant for oversleeping, which was quite annoying sometimes. But anyway, we remained friends ever since. Yeah. So no, actually, he remained after I left. Bless him. But so anyway, his name is Andy Bennett, and one of the things he turned his considerable talents towards was poetry. Now, like I said, he had the gift of the gab. He knew words really, really well, and so he became a very well-known poet, certainly on the circuits around East Anglia and also at Edinburgh Fringe. He did a few things there, along with a comedy trio called the Axis of Awesome. Was it the Axis of Awesome? Yeah, I think it was the Axis of Awesome. Anyway,
It rings a bell.
yeah, so he did all of that stuff, and then unfortunately, fortunately, he got married to a wonderful lady and has had two wonderful daughters. But unfortunately, He was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis some years ago, and that's a real kick in the leathery bits. And despite that, he maintains this incredibly positive outlook. And he approached me and a couple of other guys a month or so ago and said, look, I can't get out on the road anymore. I can't do all this stuff. So I'm just going to do the things that I can do. And online collaboration is one of those things. So he said, if I send you one of my poems, will you do something with it musically? He said, I don't care what you do, whether you chop it up, slice it around, stick it through all sorts of things, just do something with it musically. So the three of us all went off and we didn't listen to each other. We just did our own thing. And he's put it all together as an EP on Bandcamp, which is available to download now. This is Andy, and this is the Blue Sky Writing EP. And it's this delightful little poem, which I won't tell you what it's about because I'm going to play it to you. And I'm going to play my version of this. And we don't make any money off this. The only person that will make money off this is if you go and buy it from Bandcamp. Is Andy, and Andy needs every penny he can get because of all sorts of different things. And I don't want to big all of that kind of charity thing up, but he needs the money, and he's working and he's trying to provide for his family. So this is one way you can do it. So you can go and buy this, and it costs, I think it's about £4 to buy this EP. It's £1 a track. You get the original poem and you get the 3 remixes. And it's available to download now on Bandcamp. I will throw the link into the chat shortly. Whilst you are listening to the version that I did, and I hope you enjoy it. I certainly had great fun doing it. And have a listen to the failed Muso remix, no less, of Andy Bennett's Blue Sky Writing.
I want to tell you a story. The story of a beautiful moment. Walking back when walking was an option south to a gig. Stowmarket, Ipswich, Suffolk, somewhere's east coast main line. Clear day, sheer day, blue, so much blue. Traffic hum underpins skylark chitter, and then a buzz. High, distinct and distant, single prop light plane masked in the glare of the so much blue. The note changes. Low splutter, smoke comes out the back. Are they crashing? Am I gonna have to give an eyewitness interview to the local TV news? Local man sees thing, uses words. No, they're not falling. They're drawing. A long, wide bank and a perfect circle of white smoke embraces the city. 2, 3 smart Immelmans, and there's eyes. Happy cloud puff eyes and a huge shit-eating grin, matched only by the one on my face. Fuck your daffodils, I'll take a 2-mile wide acid house, smiley over Norwich any day of the week. This is gonna be a great gig. Streets empty, there's no one here to share it with, this joy bursting moment, and I cram it up into my heart to share with people later. I want to preserve and proselytize this moment. This moment just between me and Happy Sky Banksy. I'll never know their name. I'll never get a chance to thank them before the breeze, like a grumpy council, smudges the smoke to a smear. They'll never know what they gave me. They'll never know how many they touched with this selfless act of whimsy. But I hope they felt, however brief, a connection, a vibration of ungraspable beauty. I want to do that. I want to tell you a story.
Please, please, please. If you liked it, go out and download it. The other two versions of this are way better, and they're really, really good. It's worth it. It's £4. Please do go and buy that. From Andy's Bandcamp, I was going to say Facebook page, Bandcamp page. He also has a Patreon page, which you can find in the description of the video. But please support the guy because he deserves it. There we go. Right, let's move swiftly on to something else.
Hold on a minute.
What?
Hold on a minute. Well done, Robbie. That was freaking brilliant.
Well put, Andrew.
I loved that. I loved his poetry, and I love the fact that it's got the track without any music on. But I love what you did with that, and it is a worthy cause. And so, anyone out, whether you like it or not, I don't care. Go and buy it. Support
Gift
this
it to
guy.
someone.
His poetry is a wonderful thing, and what you did with that, Robbie, was just brilliant, mate. Superb. Love it.
Thank you.
I loved Robbie when he was his lovely, gentle music, and then we started swearing. I liked the way that the music sort of reflected that. I thought, yeah, brilliant. So nice video too. I think that was.
Yeah.
I put that together with a whole bunch of stock footage because I thought I need to get this out there to a wider audience. And so I thought, well, I've got a library of stock footage. Let's put it together. Sorry, that's somebody driving past in the car. Put it together and just threw it up there and said to Andy, I said, what do you think? And he said, great. So there we go. Did that. And yeah, thank you, Amanda. And that would be great if you could. That would be fantastic. Please do share it around. Somebody said no VSTs were harmed in the making of this.
No VSTs were used.
I hate to spoil the illusion, but it was all VST. It was all plugins. And I'll tell you before why. So Andy's voice, I don't know if you could... you guys don't know him, and I've known him for over 25 years. His voice is now obviously showing the signs of his condition, and it sounds weaker. He was always this kind of brilliant... I'm starting to tear up a little bit here. He was always this really brilliant vocal, funny, witty guy, and I could hear his voice breaking up, not because of any emotion, just because it's his condition. So I didn't want to detract from the fragility of the voice. So what I wanted to do was just use something that was also a little bit grainy, crackly. And I'd not long got Pure Lo-Fi, which is the Arturia plugin that they put into V Collection 11. And I found a couple of sounds like straight away that fitted. So I used those. And then I also used Yangtze, which again is another one of my favorite V Collection instruments. And you can hear the kind of the Oriental flute thing going on. And again, I was conscious that this was a poem about somebody walking through East Anglia in Norwich. And then I thought, hang on a minute, Yangtze is in the east and so is Norwich. So yeah, it works. And there was also the bit about the Acid House Smiley. And I thought, you've got to put a 303 in there. So I just dug out Acid V, again, Arturia's V Collection, just dropped that little phrase in there. Somebody else did that in one of the other remixes. So it is this wonderful kind of thing that we have, us musicians. And yeah, I tried to use the music, some of the emphasis to emphasize, like you say, that. So I'm very happy that you noticed that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because
it's like, ooh.
Yeah,
it would have been. I talked to you about this before. It would have been easy to just jump straight on the PolyBrute and the range of big synths around you. I think you made absolutely the right choice, and it's really good to hear that the choices you made going to the lo-fi thing, because I think it worked really well. I think it worked.
The first thing I did was I powered up the PolyBrute, and it was too much. It was just too much. So I turned it straight off again and thought, no, let me try these. So. But yeah, please do go and buy that EP.
Thomas Jan's going to buy one. It's good for you, Thomas. And I will be doing the video really soon, so don't worry. Yeah.
Excellent. Right. We need to talk about this. We've got a friend who lives in Florida, but he's from Basildon. So he's a proper Essex boy, and you can't. You can take the boy out of Essex, but you can't take Essex out of the boy. This guy is the wonderful Brad from Isla Instruments, and I had to think about it there. And he is selling a vintage mini Moog, early serial number 1517, and he's selling it for $12,500 US, but 10% of the sale is going to the BMF. So if you are rather wealthy in pocket, and you fancy buying this, and trust me, this will be in excellent condition. Let me just put some bigger pictures up there for you. Kent, you're an expert on these things. Is this in good condition? Is he telling the truth?
I don't know who restored it.
I don't know. I'm sure Brad had a hand in it somewhere.
Well, where is he based?
He's based. Well, Brad's in Florida.
Okay, no, it could still be one of mine. We
Could be.
sold them everywhere. No, this is nice. This is a very nice.
Tidy, isn't it?
Let's have a look at the back here. Yeah.
Is that an
okay.
original? That's not an RA, is it? But it's
Well,
an early
it won't be an RA at
It's a
1500.
Williamsburg. It's a Williamsburg one. Sorry,
Yeah.
Williamsville.
Yeah, because the badges are the plastic ones, not the aluminium ones. So it's not an RA, but it's very, very nice. But the case is screaming out RA, an RA case. But it may have the upgraded boards, you see.
Yeah.
So, which is, that swings and roundabouts. But yeah, she's nice. She's very, very nice.
The case
Yeah, sorry
does
about
look
that.
like the cherry tree, doesn't it? It's
Yeah,
got
yeah.
that look about
Do you want to see
it.
the insides? Here you go. Here's the insides.
Show us your grain. Oof.
Okay. Can we see the VCO board?
There you go.
Well, it would be there, but it's not there. There's the contour
It's got a
board.
water.
Yeah.
Oh, no, there's
Bottle of
the
water.
bottle.
What?
No, that's
Don't want that in my mini Moog.
yeah. That's the only picture of the
Oh, okay.
internals.
Okay. She looks
manuals.
tidy enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very. Oh, wait a minute. Are they the aluminium ones? Oh, they are. They are the alley ones. I think it's an RA case. Yeah.
Oh.
I think it might be.
Yeah, I think it's an RA case.
Yeah.
But the electronics are
Assembled.
possibly of a later mini. Well, if it's a 15. That means she's what? The 517th mini.
Oh, here you go. So serial number 15, old oscillator version, fully restored, ready to play. Final assembly date 23rd of May 1972. Early production features: clear pitch mod wheels, metal Moog badges, old oscillator board, handcrafted walnut cabinet by Wes Taggart. Of course, Wes did the work on
Of
some of the ones.
course.
Yeah.
Right, now we're talking. Right, okay, so if it has the old oscillator board, yeah, that makes it will sound like an RA. It has the modulation wheels of an RA. It has the badges of an RA.
Mm-hmm.
The rebuilt case has been done with the same kind of wood. So this is as good as you can get as if you went out and bought a £12,500 RA mini.
There you go.
So it'll have the sound.
Brad Holly.
Fully serviced.
Please put
Looking
cling film
good.
on your bedroom windows before you turn this on and try playing it.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding.
No,
I'm not
right.
kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a special machine.
These things have been known to kill blue bottles over a quarter of a mile away and
if it
fracture
sells-
cows' pelvises at 400 yards.
Yeah. If it sells at full price, the BMF will get at least $1,250.
Yeah. So that's literally
or
because
more,
that's $12,500. That puts it but makes it what? How many quid?
9 grand.
Probably 9, 10.
Then
Where's
it's,
the box?
it's seriously, it's honest to God, it's going for a song.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's going for
heard
a
it here
song.
first, kids.
Yeah.
And as if by magic, Craig Frustashi. Anyone is welcome to purchase it and donate it to the Bob Moog Foundation. There you go.
Yeah.
Nice one, Craig. Get in there, my
Right, well
son.
done.
Yeah.
Craig,
No,
of course, works for the Bob Moog Foundation.
Yeah. She's no, that is a little sweetheart.
Yeah,
There's a real. If I had the money, I'd have her.
there you go. There you go, Brad. Well done, mate. I hope that sells. I'm going to do this. I'm going to add it to my watch list. But I've got to sign in first, so apparently I won't do that because I don't
Oh,
want
come
to
on.
divulge.
No, we'll all look the other way. All right.
You don't want my password.
We'll look over here. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So yeah, I thought I would give that a plug because it's a brilliant thing and it's going to benefit the BMF.
And if somebody in the UK buys it, I can look after it for you.
Yeah, I think we all could.
Permanently, probably, but, but yeah.
Space here.
So, should we talk about modular?
Yeah,
Shall we?
yeah, I know you like modular.
Do you dare me? Do you
Am
dare
I
me?
dreaming? Is this a
I
dream?
think
It's a terrible fever dream.
And suddenly
Double
Jason
dare
woke
you.
up.
I'm going to wake up any
We can
minute.
very quickly talk about Cosmo Lab. Now, I don't know a huge amount about this, but it is 100% open source for educational companies, makers, musicians, performers, compatible with MIDI and Eurorack. I'm reading this off the screen. Can you tell? But basically, this isn't modular as you expect maybe modular to be. This is a modular development kit. This is for people who want to build their own synthesizers. You get a complete system with 8 interconnected boards, all of which can be hooked up in any sort of way. And then, of course, you can grow, and it's, as it says there, it's infinitely expandable. So you can buy as many of these as you want. It's Arduino IDE compatible, uses visual programming languages such as Pure Data, Plug Data, and Max MSP for rapid prototyping. You can design your own boards and do all sorts of wonderful, wonderful things in here. There are 8 boards. There's a main board, which contains a DAISY DSP, headphone control, and an SD card. Then there's audio I/O, MIDI interfaces, CV gate module, OLED display, illuminated potentiometer board, 16-key illuminated sequencer, and a 16-key chromatic keyboard. This is for people who want to build their own stuff. And design it all literally from scratch. You can create synthesizers, sequencers, loopers, all this kind of this is completely nothing that I know about at all, but I'm very excited about it because it's a platform that looks really cool, and I think there's going to be a lot of people out there who will do really cool things with it. It launches on Kickstarter in September, with first deliveries happening around 2026. Doesn't actually say when in 2026, but I wouldn't imagine it's too far away. The company's called Fasulinare. They're an Italian electronic musical. Do you know, us Italians are getting into synthesizers. They already do Eurorack modules, whatever they might be. But this is all completely open source. But yeah, I mean, you can sign up to get notified of the Kickstarter launch. We don't have any price details, but you will get, according to this, special pricing, exclusive Kickstarter discounts. I'm going to go to Kent first on this one. Would this be something you might be interested in, seeing as you have got the ideas for things like anaglyph bouncing around your head? Could something like this help you get there quicker?
It's funny you mentioned this. One of the things that took up the most time was getting the basis of the various systems that I wanted to design going, because there's a basis to the system where it's the same basis system that you have on any point at any synthesizer, and it will have this basis that it works from, right? And it's what you do on top of that. This just removes that whole process, and so, for instance, if I was going to design, which I nearly did last year, the new digital VCO for the anaglyph, and I started doing the basis for it, and so I'm building slowly bits and pieces, and it takes time, and it's fecking around, and all the rest of it. This is like bish bash bop bank. There's the basis, right? Start building on it. So this would be most welcome as it transpires. So I might actually be signing up to that notice board thing and find out when the girl's coming out and how much it's going to be. So yeah. This could take months of development of an idea that you've got in your mind.
So I'm just going to very quickly run this part of the video. So it just kind of scans through the modules. So you got the input, outputs, CV, MIDI, display, pots, keyboard, and the chromatic keyboard as well. So they're really basic kind of modules. But the fact that you can then just whack these together, develop some of the code that you need, and prototype it really, really quickly. It seems, I say, this is way, way beyond my pay grade. But I'm kind of excited about what people can do this. What do you reckon, Jason?
I don't. I don't get it. Haven't we seen something like this before?
Probably.
With was it Korg, the mini bits or something that were boxes that you sort of. I think they were magnetic. You'd stick them together and then you'd build something like this. But again, with a close eye on educational establishments and that kind of thing. I mean, you joked about the modular stuff, but I don't see the reason why you would go this route over modular. I'm thinking but why wouldn't I do that with a modular system? I mean,
I think the key there is the two words open source.
Yeah.
So that somebody's going to put.
What is going on there?
Happy birthday!
What the?
It's the open source part. So somebody's so like, I've come up with this kind of envelope generator. And you're going, well, yeah, I'll give that a try. God, that's even better than the one I was working on. I love it. So that could be the key
that could be
over it.
I mean, there are obviously modules that are, Swiss Army knives, and you can turn into I'm gonna, whatever you want it to be, whether it's sequencers, reverb, or an oscillator, or an LFO. So that kind of is already tried and tested in modular as well. So maybe not as open source as that. So that does give you, but who's making the firmware for the open source? Where's that? Because if you've got this platform, who's developing the platform? Who's putting into it? Where's the next phase?
It's funny you should mention that, because in the thing that was being played, you skipped past a point where they mentioned there is full support for coding, which is available. They will provide support.
Do they provide a free application or something?
Yeah, free. And here's the thing: this isn't modular in the sense that perhaps you're thinking of it. What this is a way to build up blocks of hardware and controllers that can talk to each other using a programming language that allows you to do whatever it is you want to try and achieve. So building up prototypes. Prototypes. Now, that may frighten some people because you said the word coding. But because there are all these libraries and they're saying they're going to provide a lot of support, I actually think this is a really good thing. And like Kent,
there you go.
I'm going to be signing up for this to see what comes through on it. I like this as an idea. It is different from the other just sort of plug filter block, oscillator block. It's not that. This is a range of different things that you can put together in ways that are entirely unique to you and code for them to make them do things that no one else is doing. I think it's a great idea for developing.
To put this in more context, I put up a video on YouTube of the first iteration of the Anaglyphs digital VCO, and I've looked back at it since, and I really wish I hadn't put it up, because it's literally pots and wires everywhere, and the pots are mounted on bits of cardboard.
Cardboard, yeah.
Right? And they're all soldered underneath, all the wiring and all the rest of it. And then there's a bench power supply running it all. And it's running, and I'm testing these BCOs and cycling through the different waveforms and stuff like that. And then because I'm holding the iPad while I'm showing what I'm doing, and I go to the filter cardboard, and there's all and it's just written in biro what they are underneath, in this writing that nobody could read. Seriously, I think I should have been a doctor. And I'm turning pots, and I go, no, that's not working. That's not working. No, that one's not working as well. That's not working. And all this cobblers, right? And this is this basis that you build from. And this is the basis where you go, boom, there you go. Now,
see, I liked your video.
Now you start developing.
Yeah. I liked your video doing that because it showed on pieces of cardboard, something that anyone could do, you trying out different electronic circuits. Yeah. I loved that about it. I loved it. Made it accessible.
I must admit, I think Tom Carpenter might have watched it and go, they're my pots. He never gave me back those pots. And and the weird thing was, when I looked at it, and I go, there's 2 sliders for filter cutoff and resonance, and they're out of an ARP 2600. These original sliders for it. It's like, why did they use them? Would it sound better?
Well,
So,
we will revisit this when it goes live on the Kickstarter, and then we can get an idea of pricing and stuff, and then we'll reassess or reevaluate that.
well, I'm going to sign up for the newsletter.
Can you
on
post
it.
the link? Can you post the link to the
Absolutely, yeah. The link
Kickstarter?
is now going into the chat as we speak. Boom, there it goes. Very quickly, because we've got 2 or 3 minutes left. We did have another topic that we were going to discuss, and I know, Jason, you were probably going to be quite keen on that, but we will have you back to talk about it because
no worries, we'll do that.
it's a nice little topic, and we'll save that one.
We ran
and
out
we'll
of time.
Well, kind of. Yeah, I know. It's
How the
crazy.
hell did that happen?
I know.
Nothing
Listen,
to talk about.
Yeah,
No news.
I'm going to ask you all. I'm going to ask you all a question. Do any of you know what 9 to 13 Osborne Street, London, is? What it represents? What might be attached to that address? Does that address seem familiar to you in any shape or form?
Isn't that Severance?
Yeah, it's a little bit, isn't it? So let's just let's flick through some of the rooms here. Let's just because there is
My God, it looks like the Dulux Test Centre.
yeah. So
Was
there is
that something like
White.
Psalm?
It is exactly Psalm.
Yeah.
Is it really?
This is Psalm
Yeah.
East. This is Psalm East, not Psalm West.
Osborne
Psalm West
Street.
has long been gone and converted into flats and all that, which is just terrible. But this room that you see here, there's a kind of like a frieze on the right hand side. If you zoom in, you'll see that it's rather rude and was always kept behind a curtain. But this, certainly the basement section, is what used to be Psalm East, where Queen recorded, where Frankie Goes to Hollywood recorded. A lot of Pleasure Dome was recorded here, and that's what it looks like from the outside. I've been there a few times and taken pictures of the outside, but that's about as far as I got. This is currently up for rent, £32.50 per square foot. Good old London pricing.
A foot.
Yeah, it's about, if you want to rent the basement or lower ground, it's going to set you back around, I think I worked it out as like £48,000 a month.
Oh, come on. Get over yourselves, London.
Yeah, but this
So we can guarantee it's not going to be a recording studio then.
Yeah,
probably.
for sure.
Yeah, but I just thought that was quite interesting to see. Whoops, we lost everyone. That was quite interesting to see. How the mighty places have fallen. We've got very few of the old classic studios left, and now Psalm East closed a long time ago. But I just came across that, and I thought I recognise that place, and there it is. It's crazy. Absolutely.
I just worked it out. It's £142,707 a year for the whole lot.
No.
For the whole lot.
No.
That's mental.
Just no.
Well, I know somebody could
and
take
that's
it on.
just the
but-
rent. Yeah, forget about the rates and everything,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
and the cost of So,
Council tax.
but they I think they're suggesting that it would be ideal for medical, health, fitness, or something else. But not the music.
Not
yes.
really.
So
Not-
Nick says was Live Aid at Psalm. No, Live Aid was at Wembley. Band Aid was at Psalm West, which was the one in Notting Hill. So that's what that was. But Psalm East, there's actually a video. If you go onto YouTube, there's a video of Frankie and Trevor and Lippo and JJ recording "Relax" and Two Tribes, and it's from an old BBC documentary. That was Psalm East, which was a dark, dingy, no windows, very but a wonderful environment. And then Psalm West came a little while after.
Atmosphere.
Great sound in there. Great sound.
Absolutely. So anyway, I just thought I'd throw that in as the last piece of the show. And we have
Finally.
absolutely, and we have actually run over again. We should have less news to talk about every day. Jason, mate, listen. First of all, thank you for coming in at such short notice. We love having you on, and you must come back soon.
Yeah, I'd love to. And
Are you doing
sorry,
anything this weekend?
Tidying my house up. I've still got loads of bits and bobs everywhere. So I emptied out my camera cupboard
Oh, right.
into my dining room, looking for an adapter.
Oh,
Isn't always the way.
any excuse.
Yeah. And
So
it's
now I'm
always
gonna
the
put
last.
that back.
It's always the last place you look.
Yeah, exactly.
It was on the lens I had in my hand.
Figures. But what about
Yeah.
streaming? Are you doing anything this weekend in
Yeah,
that regard?
Sunday as always, and I might continue with my outdoor because I did World of Synth on Wednesday outside, and because my phone I was using my phone to tether the whole stream and to basically fulfill my dream of being fully mobile streaming, to get on the motorbike, go wherever I want to go, and I'm testing it at home, thinking it might be a bit easier, but the signal's usually good, but Wednesday it was very tricky and I had some horrible technical issues, so thanks to everyone who sort of stayed with me through that. But so I might do that again on Sunday. It seems to be easier on a Sunday later. And just more organizing this room as well.
Yes. Yeah.
You can't sort of fuse box down.
I have one complaint to make though. Where the hell are the cats?
Mate, I've got my aircon on. They hate it. They're outside. I know. It's like,
Yeah, mine too. Yeah.
They don't
Oh,
like. I don't know. It's too hot. They like to sleep somewhere.
Yes. Yeah. My two have a spot and they just go and that's it and they stay there the whole day.
You get this version of Jackson instead.
Have you managed to make a replacement Jackson from all of his offcuts?
No, he's not giving me anything new to work with.
No. Oh well. Never mind. Anyway, listen, mate. Thank you so much for coming on. We really enjoy having you on. Thank you ever so much. Kent and Andy, thank you as ever. Any plans for the weekend? Anything interesting happening musically?
Musically, yes. I've got an old pal bass player who's over here, plus some old band members of mine that I used to work with. We're getting together to see, maybe we're going to put on a little something later on this year, one of our very, very infrequent Art of Mix gigs where we just throw the kitchen sink in it. So that sounds like it'll be fun. We're meeting tomorrow about that, and then otherwise, doubtless I'll be following Liz's Wimbledon adventures.
Yes.
And editing.
Indeed.
That's what will happen here.
Mr. Spong, are you taking the weekend off repairing and working on the Mustang, or is it the other way round?
I don't know. I think I might not venture outside at all.
That's probably a good plan.
Yeah. So I might do a pub tomorrow night.
Okay.
Depends if you get a good night's sleep or not.
Yeah.
But I don't know if anybody's getting a good night's sleep at the moment.
Yeah.
I woke up this morning with Siri round my neck. It was
You
hot
need that.
already.
I know. You don't need that.
No.
You don't need that. I'm going down to London. I'm going down to London on Sunday to meet a professor from the Australian National University, and we're going to talk all things Fairlight because we're both mental Fairlight fans. So yeah, maybe we'll get her on the show. I shall propose that. She's brilliant. She's really good, and she's so enthusiastic. She's the head of music studies, I believe. That's probably not her correct job title, but she's the boss of the music thing at the Australian National University in Canberra.
Nice.
So yeah, we're gonna have a chat on Sunday, and that'll be cool. And then of course next week or the weekend after that is Gearfest on Saturday, the 19th. So
I came quick.
Yeah, I know. So that's
in a week.
This year gone.
yeah, that's at Talyard Studios. So if you're going to be there, give me a look at and say hi. And that's that. I think. Don't forget now. Look, Andy Synchrotron is in the chat now. For the last 2 or 3 weeks, I've always said, go and watch him at 10 a.m. and he's piped up and said, no, I'm not doing it this week. So I'm not going to say it until Andy confirms or denies in the chat whether he's doing a stream at 10 o'clock. So we'll wait for that one. But of course, you've got Ramsey at 2 p.m. UK time to go and watch. I do believe Henrik,
Not tomorrow.
JX3D. Oh, he's not doing one tomorrow. Oh, no. Andy's not doing one tomorrow. So nothing in the morning. So you can have a lie in, everyone, or go and watch some of his old stuff. Either way, it's all
Buy his
good.
music.
Yeah. But he says the weekend after. So we'll look forward to that on the 19th. July. But yeah, Ramsey's at 2:00, and then I do believe that Henrik might be doing something at 8, like a senior synth stream type thing or something like that. Go and check him out. You've got Jamie on Sunday at 6 p.m. You've got this geezer down here doing something. Is it 10 or 10:30?
10 p.m.
10 p.m.
10:30.
Yeah, jamming in Jim Jams with Jervis and Jackson and Tom and whoever else might be there. So lots of stuff to watch.
Oh,
and there's Kent the Triffid.
I really don't look well.
I don't know. I think you look. It's quite. You've grown, sir.
I must admit, it does wobble around like that, but it's. Oh, I don't look well, mate. I really don't look well.
Far from the base.
Yeah. No.
According to Steve, Henrik is doing a noise show, but not the senior. But he's doing something around 8 p.m. I think. So cool. Go and check that out.
Cool.
But until then,
hang on. Can I just ask one other question? Can I get a show of hands here? Who's getting a brand new super duper fucking brilliant wonderful zippy car on Tuesday? Anyone getting a new car on?
I might be.
Oh.
So there might not be a show next week because I might have wrapped it around the lamppost. But
yeah.
You never said anything about this, Robbie.
No, I've not mentioned it at all.
No.
Not at all. Not slightly.
You've kept that to yourself.
I have.
So you should be.
It is. I never thought
Want
I'd
to buy
have
a Mustang?
Okay. I never thought I'd have a midlife crisis. I think this might be it. Who knows?
Or any car that has a thing called a race mode. You go, Jesus Christ, here we go.
I know. It was the first button I pushed.
I've
already told. I've already told the missus to watch out. I might be dumping her soon for a new model. So, proper full life crisis. No, that didn't go down well.
I bet it didn't.
No. Indeed.
That was great.
Yeah, quite. Don't forget,
PSN presenter
everyone.
run down by wife. Shock horror.
Absolutely. Don't forget to give us a like and a subscribe on YouTube, and also do come and follow us on Facebook. I can't get enough of these. I think they're wonderful. Also, thank you if you have if you've donated, if you've joined. Thank you to Nick as well. I almost forgot to mention Nick Howes, who gifted a ProSynth Network membership on YouTube to someone. I don't know who was the beneficiary, but thank you very much. It's most appreciated. So thanks to everyone for watching. Thank you, and come back again soon, same time, same place next week, and we'll have more stuff that we won't be talking about and stringing out for 2 hours. We seem to be getting rather good at it.
2 hours and 10 minutes.
I think the pub was good practice.
I know. This is good. Definitely good.
Yeah.
Anyway, and also don't forget to send your Synthspirations videos in. We had a belter this week.
Yeah.
See if you can top that one. But if you can't, don't worry. Just send it in anyway. We don't mind whether they're big or small or long or elaborate or whatever. We just want to have them because we're learning stuff every time we have one. So send it into prosynthnetwork@gmail.com. Use a file transfer service like WeTransfer to get it through. That'd be fine. And hopefully we'll be showing your Synthspirations very soon. Until this time next week, have a fantastic weekend. Take care,
have a great
everyone.
one, guys.
See you all soon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
Bye.